Bow, you already know what it is, man. BIWGDOWG back with another one. We got something I had to go cover real quick, man. Stephen A. Smith says, stay off the weed. And here's something right here that these Texas A&M players need to hear. And apparently they're on it and they're firing up that loud. Go get the loud. Go get the gas. What do you say? Go get the gas. They're firing up this gas in the locker room. It's been reported that 3 Texas A&M players were reportedly suspended for smoking pot, as they call it, in the locker room before the South Carolina game. How silly is that? Now, I got a couple of different perspectives on this. One is you're smoking weed before a game in the locker room? That's like a double whammy, dumb as heck. I mean, you're smoking weed before a football game where it's physically, like, you can get knocked out. I've heard about smoking weed before a basketball game where the basketball hoops look bigger, but not before a football game, not at least right before a football game. Maybe a few hours before the game where you relax, then you go take a shower, then you go play, but not in the locker room where you know people are going to be smelling it, especially if you got that gas. Now, if you ain't got that gas, then it might be something different. But you know what? I bet you they were probably smoking out of those pens or something and thought they can get away with it. That could be one thing. Here's another thing, and I'll give you a fun fact. I would say about 40 to 50, and maybe even higher. But back when I played, about 40 to 50% of the team smoked some type of either weed or black and mild or a cigar or a cigarette or something. 40 to 50%. I didn't realize that till I got to college, and I saw once we arrived at the game, you see half the guys go off this way and half the guys go off that way. Damn, where are those guys going over there? Oh, I don't know. Go one day, go find out, they going to smoke something. It's half the team, and most of them are the good players. All right, and here's another perspective. I played overseas in Europe and Austria, and I've never seen guys, until I got there, smoke anything with full uniform on. Full uniform. They were smoking cigarettes before the game and at halftime, and as soon as the game was over with. I never seen people smoke cigarettes in full uniform. That right there caught my eye and opened my eyes to a whole nother situation. I was like, damn, bro, you taking a puff right before the game? Damn. And now it's come to this. They are smoking in the locker room. Either that's a bad report, or somebody probably smelled it on their clothes. These young guys didn't know to go take a shower first. They didn't know to get the smell up off of them. I don't know what it is. But the report, they have one report. It was reported on a couple of days ago. One came from Outkick.com. And Glenn Gilbo is his name. Texas A&M suspends 3 from best class ever. And these are freshmen, including 2 for a second time. Texas A&M so-called best class ever, and quote unquote, continues to be more of a curse than a credit. Texas A&M coach Jimbo Fisher has suspended 3 true freshmen from the consensus number 1 ranked class in the nation of 2022. Cornerback Denver Harris, wide receiver Chris Marshall, and offensive lineman P.J. Williams were the 3 that was named. An earlier Outkick report also said as to why they were suspended was premature. Fisher's class of 2022 was called the best class ever by 247 Sports composite rankings last February. It was also reported that Monday night that Fisher had suspended at least 3 true freshmen and maybe a 4th. When it rains, it pours. It's been told at least 3 and perhaps 4 A&M players have been suspended indefinitely by Texas A&M Aggies head coach Jimbo Fisher, all from the true freshman ranks. Man, of all that class. And to bring this all back home, bring it back to Jackson State and HBCU football, this could benefit these guys, or it could benefit HBCU football also. This could be a Kanye West situation where they sabotaged it and they wanted to get kicked out. No, I wouldn't say that, but I will say that a guy like Shamar Stewart and a bunch of other guys could be looking at this as a telltale sign and say, hey, man, this ship is sinking. It's not as good as I thought anyway. It's time to go somewhere else. And maybe the guy like Big Stewart, who had Jackson State in his top 3 at the time when he committed to Texas A&M and Jimbo Fisher, he could consider a place like Jackson State, or he could go back home to Miami. But I would love to see him on that Jackson State defensive line. I would love to see him and a couple of other dominant players on that Jackson State defensive line just wreaking havoc, even more dominant in the SWAC, you know. But this is nothing new as far as football teams go. People smoke herb and weed and whatever you want to call it, gas, all the time, man. All the time. Sorry that this guy's on here like he's the poster boy for doing it. We don't know who the guys were other than the ones we just named, but we don't know who else on the team burned. I'm sure it's plenty more, but they were just smart enough to get caught. How dumb can you get, man? You know what I mean? I remember being in college and we got on the plane one time. I'll tell you this story. And we were getting on the plane. We're going through TSA. I appreciate everybody who's watching, who's still listening in. But I remember being on TSA and going through TSA, and the guy in front of me got caught with some blunt wraps, like some cigars, some swishers, right? And so when he got caught with that, the coaches pulled him to the side, like, okay, we see the swishers. Where's the weed? I was like, oh, that's the telltale sign right there. So that let me know right there, if you ever going to be traveling with some green, and you don't want them to even be suspicious that you got some of this stuff, don't have the thing that go with it. That's like having some peanut butter and somebody like, oh, where's the jelly? We know you ain't got no peanut butter without, or at least where's the bread? We know you don't have peanut butter without the bread or jelly. Where is it? So that's what they were saying. They were like, okay, you got swishers, where's the weed? And that's when I learned right there, don't travel with no swishers. If you need some, go buy them at the destination you're at, or get an alternative. Get some papers, or no, you know what? Papers go with it too. Get some like a Black and Mild or something, or a big cigar where they might not know, or they might think you just burning these by yourself. But who smokes swishers other than, other than them people? Who smokes, tobacco swishers? Come on, man. So Texas A&M, once again, man, they're in a situation where these guys, that some of that best class ever stuff is out the window. Like they say, it could be more of a curse than a credit. Here's another report saying those 4 players returned from suspension for the week following the Miami game. Let's go back a little bit. Fisher, whose team dropped to 3-4 overall and 1-3 in the SEC with a 30-24 loss at South Carolina on Saturday, previously suspended Harris and Marshall before the September 17 Miami game, and 2 other members of the 2022 class, wide receiver Evan Stewart and cornerback Smoke Boyu, for violations of team rules. Who named this guy Smoke? His folks name him Smoke and expect him not to smoke, and you recruited him, expect him not to smoke. You know he gonna smoke. Alabama A&M's offense averages just more than 20 points a game. That was the week after the preseason number 6 Aggies season really started to go downhill with the 17-14 loss to 18-point underdog Appalachian State, App State, on September 10th. Those 4 players returned from suspension from the week following the Miami game, and the Aggies beat the number 10 Arkansas Razorbacks. But the Texas A&M has since lost 3 straight for the first time since 2014, and Fisher is below 500 overall for the first time since becoming the highest paid coach in college football before the 2018 season at $7.5 million over 10 years. Goodness gracious, great balls of fire. Whew. That will soon raise to $9 million a year. And wait, it gets worse. That will soon raise to $9 million a year. As bad as this season has been, do not look for Fisher to be fired this year. His buyout is estimated to be in the $80 million range. Damn. And not even Texas A&M, who basically grows money with his contacts with Big Oil, is ready to shell out that type of money anytime soon for a fired head coach. And Texas A&M hired Fisher in 2018, of course, and they quoted, "We've got to do what's right, no matter what the circumstances are," Fisher said, after the Aggies beat number 13 Miami. We got to get everybody on the same page and doing everything together. Sometimes mistakes are made, and we'll grow. These were violations of team rules, and we have to move on the way we need to handle it, is what Fisher said. Apparently, not all Aggies are growing. This is the same recruiting class led Fisher to being accused of buying most of his signees through name, image, and likeness deals, which in turn led to a feud with Alabama coach Nick Saban, of course. Texas A&M hosts number 15, Ole Miss, who's 7-1 and 3-1 in the conference at 7:30 on Saturday on the SEC network. SEC network. Our guys believe is what Fisher said, and they're into it. Yeah, they're into burning one. While you out there talking, giving your pregame speech, they're in the back on that gas. Coach Fisher. Fisher said of his team losing streak at his weekly press conference on Monday. We've talked to them and communicated to them every day about it. About what? About being on point or being on that gas. Nigga, go get that gas. All right, man, that's all I have to report for you guys. Texas A&M getting high as the sky. They trying to do their best Snoop Dogg and Devin the Dude and Wiz Khalifa impression. That's what Texas A&M trying to do. They trying to get that Devin the Dude contract, man. All right? Let me know what you think, man. Leave a like, subscribe, comment. We're about this thing. Peace in the Middle East, y'all.